Young black girl sells lemonade to pay for her mother's chemo. Suddenly, Keanu Reeves stops by, leaving everyone in awe. One afternoon in Rosewood, 9-year-old Talia Johnson set up a lemonade stand by the oak tree at the roadside. The summer sun beat down on her small setup, a foldable chair where she had written "Lemonade 50 cents", along with a picture of lemonade she'd made that morning. Talia's lemonade stand was no ordinary lemonade stand that you usually see elsewhere. It wasn't over money for toys or treats. Talia was selling lemonade because of her mother's chemotherapy. Well, that is quite a cause. Talia's mother, Lisa, had cancer. They were getting bills, and it gradually was becoming difficult to manage things. Even though Talia was just a little girl, she had the urge to contribute her level best. This idea came into her mind one day after listening over and over to her mother's phone calls to relatives, trying to explain the high costs of her treatment. Talia realized that a lemonade stand would not make a lot of money. However, she thought maybe she could raise enough money for groceries or a small contribution toward her mom's bills. Every hour, Talia would serve lemonades to the few passers-by who stopped, actually most of them neighbors who knew her and her family. They would give words of encouragement to her, and sometimes a little extra money, touched by her story and her will. As the afternoon wore on, the crowd started to dissipate, and Talia began to feel the fatigue of the day. So far, the earnings were a collection of coins and a few dollar bills, not nearly enough to amount to even a fraction of her mother's hospital bills. No sooner had Talia started gathering up than she heard the low, hoarse sound of a motorcycle engine. She looked up, expecting to see one of those bikers of the neighborhood who sometimes drove through town, but instead it was something even more surprising. A sleek black car slowly pulled up to her stand. Out stepped a familiar figure as the door opened. Keanu Reeves. Talia did not immediately recognize him, but the small gathering of people that built up around him began to whisper excitedly to each other. Keanu Reeves was an extremely famous actor, starring in such films as The Matrix and John Wick, standing right there in front of her lemonade stand. Talia's eyes widened, not because he was some kind of celebrity, but because he seemed so down to earth, approaching like he would be just any other person who might stop. Keanu came up to her, flashing a warm smile as he knelt down to her height. "Hi there, little one," he said. "Are you selling lemonade?" Talia nodded, feeling a bit shy. "Yes, sir. It's 50 cents per cup." Keanu snorted and pulled out his wallet. He tugged out a crisp $100 bill and watched in amusement when Talia's eyes widened. "How about I purchase an entire pitcher?" Keanu asked, handing her the money, smiling. Talia took the bill, almost incredulous. "Thank you, sir," she managed to say in a soft tone. She knew nothing else to say. As he took his lemonade, Keanu noticed next to her a handwritten note telling why she was selling lemonade. "My mom is sick, and I want to help her get better. All money goes to her treatments." Keanu's kind and gentle eyes regarded Talia as he glanced around at the growing crowd that had congregated near them and back at her. "What you're doing for your mother is extraordinary, Talia. Most kids wouldn't even think about that." He turned to the onlookers and spoke loud enough for all to hear. "Everyone, let's show Talia our support. She's working hard to help her mother. Who's with me?" The crowd was warm and enthusiastic in response. One by one, they went to her lemonade stand, each one paying so much more than the 50-cent asking price. Some gave $10 bills, others 20, and some gave even higher figures. In a matter of minutes, Talia's collection cup overflowed with donations and she was speechless. All this while, Keanu remained around her, helping her serve lemonade and to greet the customers so that she didn't feel scared for what she was doing. As more people came around after the word spread throughout the neighborhood, Keanu stepped aside to make a quiet call. As he returned, his face wore a warm smile. "Talia, you won't need to go through this alone anymore," he whispered. "I have called a couple of people who can help out with the cost of treatment for your mother." Talia's eyes widened in surprise. "You mean, Mom can get better?" "Yes," Keanu nodded. "She'll get the treatment she needs." "What you've done today, Talia, that's just great. I'm proud to be part of it." Overcome with emotion, Talia leapt across the table and wrapped her arms tightly around Keanu. For all of her words, she had nothing to say to thank him. None were needed. Her embrace said it all. The people's cheers mixed with sobs, for they all felt this tender moment. Keanu spent the rest of the afternoon at Talia's and her neighbors, listening intently as she related stories of her mother's strength and kindness. He reassured her that her mother was lucky to have a daughter so brave and dedicated. In the following weeks, Talia's story would captivate the entire nation as newscasts and social media spread her story. Her determination and the kind response by Keanu moved people to send letters and donations from all corners of the country. She would now become an inspiration to her community, proof that love and perseverance at any age of life can move mountains. With Keanu involvement and further support coming from around the world, Talia's mother received appropriate treatment. Recovery would be well on its way, with Keanu keeping in constant contact and ensuring the family had everything needed for their onward journey. Keanu's surprise invitation to a movie set sent Talia into an ecstatic behind-the-scenes look at filmmaking and introductions to his fellow actors. What touched her most, however, wasn't the glamour. Rather, it was how Keanu had welcomed her into his family, nurturing her dreams. First showing firsthand how kindness could transform lives. Even after her mom finally recovered, Talia continued to run her lemonade stand. Instead of financing medical bills, she forwarded all money coming in to other families in various health crises, knowing well the importance of paying forward. Keanu came back one sunny afternoon with a crew of volunteers and invited Talia to a surprise that would leave her breathless: a personalized, solar-powered lemonade stand. With a refrigeration unit, a protective awning, and a lighted sign reading "Lemonade for Hope," it reflected how an innocent little idea had grown into something special. The stand has become more than a fixture in the neighborhood. It's a place where neighbors have come to share their stories, offer encouragement, and restore their faith in humanity. Keanu, realizing Talia was a natural to lift the spirits of others, made her ambassador for a new program that would help other kids in similar situations. He and Talia have hit the road, speaking at different functions and inspiring others to get involved. But it was in the larger crowds that Talia felt the power of her voice. A movement had emerged from what had actually been a desperate attempt to save her mother. Her stall represented much more than refreshments, a sign of hope, not giving up, and neighborly love. And Keanu's good deed had grown into a lifelong friendship, still changing lives left and right. It was many years later that Talia used her experience to found Talia's Hope, a non-profit that provides financial and emotional support to families dealing with various medical issues. Each summer, she still ran her lemonade stand, which became a highly recognizable community affair where people came together, not only to buy lemonades, but also to celebrate a shared history of getting through the tough times. It is something Talia has reflected on when public speaking many times. The size of your action doesn't matter. It's the love behind it that creates change. I started with just a lemonade stand, but with hope and support, we built something far greater than I could have dreamed. The ripples of Keanu's compassionate gesture continued to spread, touching lives year after year. As Talia grew older, she held fast to the wisdom he'd shared, that even the smallest act of kindness could spark enduring change in the world. The arc of Talia's journey shows the transformative power of kindness and community. What began as an innocent child's desperate attempt to help her ailing mother blossomed into something much greater, a very good example of how small acts of love can ripple in the most unexpected of ways. Through determination, Talia took what was essentially a lemonade stand and turned it into a beacon of hope that would touch so many lives. Keanu Reeves emerged as a reminder that sometimes the most profound change starts with one person choosing to be kind. His impulsive generosity did more than bring in some welcome financial relief. It showed a struggling family they weren't alone and catalyzed an entire community into action. That gesture of compassion would start a movement and change lives for generations to come. Beyond just the impact of having helped one family, Talia's story highlights deeper truths. That age and circumstances needn't limit our capacity to make a difference, that the human spirit is capable of overcoming even the most impossible odds, and that in times of need, we are all capable of lifting each other up. This story reminds us to question whose life we may be that spark of hope for. It reminds us that every smile we create, every helping hand we offer, has the power to change lives in ways we might never fully understand. Perhaps most powerful of all, Talia's journey stands as living testimony to the amazing things that can happen when hope, love, and community come together.